More than 500 million people use omega-3 supplements. When tested, 97% do not get their desired results. And even worse, they don't know if the products they are using actually work. That's where we come in. Through our disruptive technology, our customers are made aware that they need a real change to get the most out of their life. Our products promote one of the most important building blocks in our cell structure. Without it, your body is compromised. As a partner promoting these products, this becomes your ticket to wealth.
Our mission: we inspire wealth and health for our customers, families, and friends.
Becoming your best is not just about talent and fancy gears.
Our vision: inspire change by being the most customer-friendly direct sales company in the world.
You become the best through your attitude, your hunger, and your actions. In Zinzino, we are not afraid to go all out, leading the future to a better place for everyone. We realize we don't know everything, but we still act, and we commit to learn from what we do in order to constantly improve.
Kaizen continuous improvement.
There is strength in numbers. We succeed by working together.
We work together, laugh together, cry together, excel together.
In Zinzino, we encourage personal growth. We recognize the uniqueness in everyone. We believe in giving back. We create inspiration. We innovate. We are the pioneers of test-based, personalized nutrition. We are lifting the field of health and wellness to a whole new individual level and into the future. This is why our goal is big and bold, yet perfectly reasonable. By 2025, we will have 1 million customers in balance. By 2035, we will have 20 million customers. And by 2050, we will have helped 100 million customers to a life in balance. Enjoy the ride.
Zinzino, we inspire change in life.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Okay, welcome to Dr. Webinar. All right, before we start, okay, can we do a sound check, a quick sound check? Let me check my visual. Okay, everything is good. All right, I'm Vincent and I will be your main host and translator for today's session. Wow, happy to see many of you today again, and thank you for taking your time off to participate in today's session to enrich yourself. So for those who wish to listen to the Mandarin session later, you can click on the interpretation button below, okay, and then you can click on Mandarin. I will be doing the translation after the introduction. So today, Doctor will be discussing with everyone, why is it so important to take balanced oil in our diet and how it can help our bodies to be healthy, to be in balance. So if we actually go to a mall or go to a shop right now, you can see actually plenty of brands out there, plenty of products, and there are also many types of omega-3s out there. So which ingredients should you look out for to make the correct choice? All right, so all this Doctor will share with us later on during his discussion. And of course, Doctor will also be touching on our very most important tool, which is our balance test, okay? For those who haven't seen our balance test, don't know what balance test is about, this is the balance test. It's actually one of the key drivers as to why Zinzino is growing so rapidly worldwide. All right, you see, every company out there will be saying that, okay, we have the best product, and we also have a very good testimonials. We have plenty of customers who had, taken the products and doing well. We in Zinzino, we of course have plenty of testimonials as well, but more than that, we have this additional tool, which is the balance test, and we can actually make use of the test report to show whether the product they are taking, whether they are actually effective or not. The balance test report actually will give you a clear indication of your current health status. So as of course, as our society gets more educated, the science and facts of the report will become more important, and test-based nutrition is very soon becoming a trend. Until today, I have just did a check earlier at our website, okay, zenzinotest.com, and we have done more than 700,000 tests worldwide, okay, and I'm so excited about the numbers, and the number is just like growing every week. Okay, by the way, for those who have just know about Zinzino and the first time attending the call, okay, welcome. And Zinzino is actually a public listed company, okay, that is based in Sweden. And we are also the world leading company with the largest fatty acid test database. All right, so Zinzino has been serving many satisfied customers in Europe over the past 8 years, and now we are just like starting in Asia. We have had been a tremendous success in EU, in Europe over the past years, and because of our balanced oil and the balance test that I showed you earlier, and with the Asian market coming up, it will definitely be faster and bigger. And of course, before the end of the session, we will open up the field for some Q&As. This is a perfect time, okay, for you to ask Dr. Abraham anything about health and product. I'm sure if you have been talking to your customers or prospects over the past week, you have encountered plenty of queries from your customers. Some of them you may already know how to answer, but there might be some that you not sure how to answer. So you can prepare these questions earlier and put it in the chat box later on during our QA segment. Q&A is actually one of our main highlights for Dr. Webinar, and he will be giving his advice, professional advice. All right, it's just like a doctor consultation. All right, it's a good time for everyone here to learn and share knowledge. As you understand more about the products, you'll be more confident and you'll be more convincing when you are sharing the product to your prospects. Let me give everyone a short introduction of Dr. Abraham before we start. Doctor has been in the medical field and worked in hospital for more than 40 over years. So he is very experienced, all right? So even though he's a medical doctor, he truly believes in the holistic approach to keeping our body healthy. On top of that, he is also now in the scientific advisory board for Zinzino and has been working closely with the rest of the board members to develop more, better, wonderful product for you. All right, so without further ado, okay, let us give a warmest applause to welcome Dr. Abraham. Doctor, please.
Thank you, Vincent. This evening, let us focus our chat a little bit on some of the things that are going on currently around the world. There are some major challenges that we are facing due to the corona infection. And this has been going a little more than 1.5 years. And there doesn't seem to be a slowdown so far. There have been waves. It looked like it was going down, it comes up again. And this has gone through several stages all around the world. Now, here we are in the 21st century, where we are very worried about warfare, nuclear warfare, and so on. And suddenly we get hit by a very small virus, and all our lifestyles, interactions, travels has completely changed, altered to the point where it doesn't resemble what happened just 2 years ago. Now, coming from the health side, this involves a part of our body which we have not fully understood, and that is our immune system. We live in different environments. Some of us in a rural environment, some semi-urban, some in the cities. 5 years ago, the population of the world crossed the 50% mark worldwide for people living in cities. This has never happened before, but living together closely has its benefits and also its risks. We are thrown into an environment where we encounter foreigners, you can say, that enter our body. Bacteria, virus, chemicals, or even certain other things that we are not sure of what exactly it is. This comes into the body. Now, the body has a very complex system of preventing anything that is harmful to the body to enter into it. The first line of defense is the skin. If it penetrates through that, then the immune system within the body is activated to act on it. Okay, let us start with the immune system. The immune system is basically to keep us immune from illnesses that come from infections, environmental toxins, or even trauma. Okay, what it can do is it mounts a certain number of protocols, and I'm not going to go very detailed into it. It's a biochemical nightmare. The body generally mounts a response so that the threat can be removed. Let me explain a little bit. The immune system was not easily studied, and only in the last 20 years or so we are better informed. Why? Because this system is not like the circulatory system or the digestive system, where it is located in one area. The tissues of the immune systems are scattered all over the body, but they coordinate between themselves. And because it is scattered all over in different other organs, for example, the immune tissue is found in bone marrow, in the spleen, in another gland just behind the chest bone called the thymus gland, which is more active during childhood but becomes a little small by the time we reach adulthood, and our digestive system. Our digestive system is probably the only tubular system that goes through the body and comes out at the other end. The average length is about close to 9 meters. Of course, in a tall person, it'll be even longer. Since it acts as an entry point to water and food that might come from all kinds of sources, there is a major filter at the walls. And these walls are made up of cells in 4 layers. Between the second and third layer, you get distribution of immune system tissue, like you can say a customs outpost all along the tube of this digestive system. Some anatomists estimate the digestive system walls alone contain more than 60% of the total immune system tissue found in our body. That is quite a lot, and quite rightly so, because from the digestive system, many foreign substances, infections, worms, all kinds of stuff get in, and they have to be protected. So the immune system tries to keep us healthy by making sure what is harmful to the body doesn't get in, and if it does get in, it has a action which is very complex, which will go trap these foreign bodies and destroy it. It is when this incursions by outsiders is overwhelming that patients die of an infection, because this infection has overwhelmed the immune system, or the toxins that have come, poison gas or something like that, has overwhelmed it. Okay, now as we look at it, the action of defense involves certain processes. I'm going to take an example of an injury, let's say trauma, to your arm, just near the elbow. Let's say you fell down and you try to protect yourself from the fall by putting out your hand, and your forearm got injured. Now that area has injured cells which will release certain enzymes into the system, which will signal the immune system to come and do something. The first step is the blood vessels in the area of injury opens up. More blood flows through that area, more You can say nutrition is brought to that area, more help is brought to that area, and especially the white blood cells who tend are helpful in cleaning up the damage that is done there. Okay, this process involves an increase in circulation, so that area will become a little reddish. Second thing, because of the increased blood flow, it'll be a little swollen. And because of these two reasons, it will be a little warm in that area. And because of all these three, you might experience some pain, discomfort. Of course, if the injury is more severe, what happens is your swelling is more, your pain is more, and therefore you may not be able to move your arm. So the function of the area that is injured, in this case, a physical injury, may even restrict the movement. So this is what you see in the surface. What is going on inside is white blood cells from your blood. Now, the blood is probably the fastest moving system in the body. We have about 5 to 5.5 liters of blood, which circulates throughout the body every minute while we are at rest. So this circulation brings in all the raw material needed for a cleanup job and a repair job. Now here, while the cleanup is happening, what happens is there is further damage to that area, because the cells that go in must use certain chemicals to break down products, cells, or tissues that are damaged, that are dying, that are dead. All this has to be broken down and cleaned up. Now that will involve further damage to the cells around it. But overall, when the task is completed, you have lost only some good cells. Most of the damaged cells are gone, and repair work is almost complete, by which time this process starts settling down. Now, this process is called inflammation. Inflammation mounted by the body to take care of any body infringing into the body. Now, I give a very simple example to help you understand the overall response by the body. Now, the same thing happens when something goes into the body. For example, let's take a coronavirus. The coronavirus gets into the body and starts multiplying. This, a virus actually cannot multiply. The virus gets into our body cells and make our cells produce more virus particles. Okay. This process is ongoing. It causes fever, and of course, the body is now mounting its inflammation. In this case, the inflammation is on the inside of the body, not on the outside as in an injury. So what happens is this virus actually doesn't live very long, maybe 10 days, maximum of 14 days. It burns out in the sense it reduces and doesn't multiply very much more. It slows down. But the quickness with which it multiplies creates a reaction from the body of such magnitude that the inflammatory response to the body is the one that kills the patient. And in this case, the area that you can mount the response in a very aggressive way is in the lungs. And the lungs are very soft and very pliable. There's a lot of empty spaces in between. So the way this inflammatory response is carried out, there is a byproduct where it can block the lung from absorbing oxygen. So patients who go into level 4 or even level 5, when you give them a lot of oxygen, it still doesn't get into the body because of this film-like thing that is blocking the lung tissue from the air that you are pumping in or the oxygen that you are giving. Now, while you're in such a weakened state, other, enemies also can come in, and sometimes you can get a bacterial infection on top of that. If you go to these two levels, it is very unlikely that the patient can recover. Once the oxygen levels come down, and mind you, you can't live without oxygen for more than 5 minutes. Some oxygen does go through, but it now, instead of affecting just the lung, it's going to affect all the organs in the body. Okay. And if you already have other medical problems and age is not on your side, you're already compromised. So that little bit of reserve that you have will get wiped out, and usually the patient will succumb. So I've given you two scenarios where the inflammation can cause healing and inflammation can also destroy you. Now, our focus today is on somewhere in between. While all this can happen in modern lifestyles, the same inflammation is going on in our bodies at a lower level than a coronavirus infection and continuously throughout the day. This inflammation is mediated by two hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. There are other minor hormones, but these are the major ones. Why these two? When we are faced with stress, we first react with adrenaline. Adrenaline is a hormone that helps you handle the stress for the initial short period. But if the stress is ongoing, the adrenaline stops working or reduces and cortisol takes over. Cortisol is more long acting, and of course, it doesn't break down that easily. So that carries on in the body. I'll give you two scenarios. In ancient time, when people went for hunting or physical work, if they are faced with a stressful situation, they get these hormones flooding their body. Either they resolve it or they succumb to it. For example, you're faced with an animal that you're hunting. Now, either you fight the animal or you take flight. What is not mentioned is some people freeze. So fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, so fight, you may win. Run away from it, you might escape from the situation. If you freeze, of course, you are dead meat. Now, in all these situations, hormones are poured out in a large amount. And if you notice, the first two involve a lot of physical activity. You fight the animal, and then you got to carry it all the way. That's a lot of physical work. If you take flight, also physical work. This physical work breaks up the remains of these hormones and clears it from the system. So the useful part of it has been experienced. The damaging part is prevented by it being cleared from the system. In modern times, when we face stress, let's say in the office environment, you cannot fight. You're working for somebody. So you're stressed, but you cannot fight the system. You cannot run away. You can't take flight because you need the job. So you stay there. And if you freeze, in modern terms, freezing means slowing down. You can't finish your work in time. That's an added stress. Is it over? No, it's not over for the day. It might continue every day, every other day, or every other week. And if you're working in a particular environment for a long period, you're going to have these hormones in the system, which creates or produces, makes it easier to have this inflammation going on in the system. So it is not a quick inflammation to settle the problem. It is not an overwhelming inflammation which will kill you, but it is somewhere in between, smoldering like a slow fire. This will slowly break down your defenses. Where are these defenses? Take, for example, your digestive system. These hormones tend to affect the lining of any system. Take the stomach. The stomach has got such strong acids that you can eat meat and digest it. Your stomach is also meat, but those same juices will not digest your stomach. Why? Because there is a lining in the stomach where there's a thin film of secretions which will keep the acid from hitting the tissue or the wall of the stomach. In a compromised system where there has been inflammation, there will be areas where this lining breaks down, and that's when you get gastric problems. Now, in the large intestine, the same thing can happen. The lining breaks down. Now, the large intestine is the final packing area for waste matter from the body, solid waste matter. So if the lining which protects it from the waste matter breaks down, many things can happen. One statistics to remember is the incidence of cancer of colon is the large intestine, is very high nowadays in modern times. Why? Because of constipation. One, we retain waste matter too long. We do not eliminate it that well. So when we have inflammation and the lining has broken down in the mucous membrane of the large gut in areas, now it is open to irritation, absorption of some of these wasteful chemicals. Okay, this is the digestive system. So if the inflammation is ongoing, slow in the blood vessels, it's the same thing. The inner lining gets affected. If the inner lining of the blood vessel is affected, it becomes a little sticky, like a plaster, handicap plaster maybe, a little sticky. So we have a lot of solid substances passing in the bloodstream, platelets, very viscous stuff like oils, fats. So some of these cells, platelets, can get stuck to the walls of the circulatory system or blood vessels. When they get stuck there, they form a small bump. Now the wall is not even, and what happens? The flow of blood is a little disrupted. It is not smooth. More tends to accumulate in that area, and so on. And this is how we get blockages. For some reason, the blockages are usually concentrated in the coronary arteries, that is arteries of the heart. We don't know why. Other arteries are not affected that badly. The one that is closest to that will be the arteries to the brain. So people tend to die in old age of either a heart attack or a stroke. Maybe it is the design of nature that when we have to go, we go fast. If it happens in the leg or the arm, then you lose one arm. 5 years later, you lose one leg. Oh, that's miserable. Okay. So we still haven't worked out why the heart. But this is another system that is involved in inflammation. Okay. The other system is, for example, joints. We have about 130 different joints. Some don't move, some moves very little, but the ones that move a lot, the lining in the joints get inflamed and you get arthritis. Okay. Why it gets inflamed is because there is some problem going on there. What problem? The damage from use, wear and tear is not being repaired in time. So it is equivalent to a mechanical injury. And over a period of time, this inflammation can produce a lot of things. Okay, pain, swelling, wear and tear of the cartilage, to a point where finally you might have to replace the knee joint. Knee joint is one of the joints that is probably the most abused. It carries 2/3 of your body weight. If you jog, every joint experiences a pressure which is 2 to 3 times your body weight, which is not wrong, but your repair must be equally good. If it is not, then you get into problems later in life. So we have looked at circulatory system, we have looked at the digestive system, we've looked at skeletal joints, okay? Even more important than all this is that inflammation is going to hit your connective tissue in the body. What is the connective tissue? To make it simple, if you look at a building, you will notice it is made up of bricks, some iron pipes, wiring, water pipes, and so on. But what holds all of it together is the concrete of the building. So in the human body, connective tissue is like the concrete. When you have low-grade chronic or long-term inflammation, there are certain chemicals that are released. What happens is they slowly eat up this connective tissue. When I say eat up, what I mean is actually damaged. So the connective tissue density is reduced. When that happens, wrinkles on your skin, because connective tissue is less than when you were young. Okay, and of course this is speeded up not just by because of aging process, because of inflammation. Now, can you imagine the same thing happening in your organs? Over the years, ultrasound reports show that the size of every organ reduces as we get older because of the loss of connective tissues in the organ, not so much the functioning part of the organ. We have tried hormone treatment on women who are 80 years old and started making them menstruate again. Okay, so the organ itself is still can be revived, but it has gone so shrunken because of the loss of connective tissue due to this process called inflammation, which is low grade but long term. Can you imagine what will happen to the nervous system when the brain shrinks a little bit? As we get older, the process varies in speed from person to person. So some people are mentally active till their last days. Some years before that, they start losing their ability to remember. So in a conversation, an elderly person will repeatedly ask the question every 2 minutes, a question that you've answered before, and it can go on and on. Now, these people need frequent interaction with others. But this is the kind of situation where people will start avoiding these elderly people. Now, what happens is the degeneration of the brain is faster when they do not have this interaction. Okay. So the underlying cause for all that I described so far is because of low-grade inflammatory process. I'm not forgetting the fact that we also have the aging process to contend with. Now that cannot be escaped. Okay. What we want to achieve is good health till the time that we live. Longevity is a subject that has been studied in the last 20, 30 years very intensively, and so far we have zero answers. We understand the process to some extent. We don't know why it occurs that way, and we have not been able to design any method to lengthen it, though a lot of claims are being made. Our lifespans have increased over the last 50 years, and we thought we are on the right path. Over the last 4 years plus, statistics indicate that our lifespan is beginning to come down. That's another big topic. Maybe it's lifestyle, modern lifestyle, diet, and so on. A lot of work is going on. So we want to be as healthy as possible till our last days. And for that, we must make sure all the basics are in place. I always stress on this. You must get enough oxygen, which means a little bit of exercise. Breathe a bit harder. Drink enough water, which is about 60% of your body weight. Okay, so that you can. Have you had an oil change for your car? How long do you think you can have a water change for your body? If you drink about 2 to 3 liters, it will take about a week to completely change the water in your body, and your body will thank you for it. So maybe you should do that, and a water change every week or so. Okay. Now, oxygen, water, diet. Okay. Let me hold on to the diet. The next most important thing is sleep. If you don't have enough sleep, you do not have enough time for the body to reduce the inflammation. Lack of sleep increases your cortisol level, which triggers that inflammatory process. Okay. Now, when it comes to diet, you need certain fats to support the cell to prevent the inflammation from damaging it. Okay. So in that big picture, fats play an important marker, a role, including other things. Okay. Now, this is an area that you can easily correct by taking a supplement. I think by now most of you know there are 2 fats that the body needs but cannot make. By the way, the body can make a lot of fats, Cholesterol is a fat. The body makes 70%. The estimate is somewhere between 60 to 80. Let's take a middle line. 70% of the cholesterol the body needs is made by the body, even though you eat a high cholesterol diet. Okay. You take a vegetarian, a pure vegetarian or a vegan, they don't take any cholesterol. Cholesterol is found only in non-vegetarian dishes. So where do they get the cholesterol? The body produces all of that. So the body is capable of doing a lot. Why do we have excess cholesterol? Inflammation. When we were young, extra cholesterol is broken down, eliminated in the bile very well. But because of inflammation in these cells lining the organs like the liver, this capacity to break down excess of anything, including fats, comes down. We also reduce our capacity to convert carbohydrates to sugar to energy. So what happens? Our sugar levels go up because the conversion capacity is slow. Why? Inflammation in the pancreas. We can't produce enough insulin. And when we do produce enough insulin, inflammation of the cells that prevent the insulin from doing its job. Okay. So you see the widespread damage. Now, this is where essential fatty acids can do a major part by giving you the strength of the cell membrane. Now, the cell membrane is about 50% fat, and a major part of that is omega-6 and 3. There are 2 things about these oils. You need it in your diet, and you need it in a certain amount. Too much of omega-6 causes problem. And in our diet, we take too much simply because of commercial concerns over the last maybe 80 years. Cooking oil has been prepared in such a way that it is cheap, convenient, and lasts very long on the shelf. For this to be true, we can only use vegetable or seed oils which have been processed. So we get lots of omega-6, poor quality because of the processing. So we get a double whammy there. And over this period, the cost of seafood has gone up and our consumption has reduced. So our omega-3 supplies have come down. Formerly, our animals, land animals like cattle, goats, they used to be grass-fed. Grass-fed animals have a small amount of omega-3. So even those who lived inland and eat only red meat, they had omega-3 because the animals were grown on natural grass, fodder, and so on. Now no more. Everything is fast food, not only for us, fast food for the animals also. Even then, those days, somehow instinctively they knew the omega-3 may not be enough. And I'm sure you've heard of snake oil salesmen. We laugh at them. Okay. Now, studies show some of the snake oils had 30% EPA. So it did do some good. That is why it lasted so long. Okay, that trade, snake oil salesman. Okay, so we need these two oils, and because we have omega-6, we need to cut that down and supplement omega-3. Why Zinzino oil is so outstanding in the market is it is not just an oil that can be absorbed into the bloodstream. You take any fish oil and check your blood levels. It will show that it is high and good. Okay, because it is absorbed. But are the cells using it? And this is where we have an edge over other products, because we include polyphenols into it. When you add polyphenols, not only is the absorption increased, but the use by the cells, okay, incorporating the omega-3 into the cellular structure is important. Okay, can you actually measure that? By the way, our dry blood spot test actually measures that. That is why it's dry blood. The liquid part is absorbed by the blotting paper. What we check is the cell membrane of the red blood cell. This is one of the few cells that moves around the body very often and is quite representative of what is happening to other cells. So this is analyzed and the result is given to you. And from what we see so far, I mean, just 6 months ago, we had done only 500,000 tests. As Vincent quoted, the latest has crossed 700,000. The laboratory that tests it is a very high specification laboratory, which works for research institution, universities. And by the way, they also listed was one of the laboratories that provide service to WHO. So it is a very reliable laboratory. This 700,000 test base is the largest database of blood fats found in cellular membranes in the entire world. This lab has that kind of data thanks to Zinzino. And because of the kind of data that we have, we are constantly improving even further. At the moment, we are having success rates of in excess of 95%. 95% or more improve the ratio when they take balance oil. And this is something that you need to look at. And I would urge you to try it. Okay. Okay, we have some time for Q&A. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask, I would be happy to explain what I can. Any questions? You can type it in the chat. Vincent, do you have anything on the in
Okay,
Mandarin?
let me see. Yeah. All right. Okay, let me get the thing started. Okay, because I have always got a lot of inquiries from the viewer. So okay, this is one of them that I got today. All right, let me just paste on it so that everybody can see and read. Yeah, and of course, doctor, you may want to read out the questions.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
There is a question. My female friend is starting to get varicose veins on her legs. These veins are now more visible and it's getting worse. Can you advise if taking balance oil helps? Okay, balance oil will help, but it will be the third or fourth thing in the list. The first is you need an examination to see why you got varicose veins in the first place. It may be a simple reason like a nursing staff who have to be on their legs throughout the day. Okay, And sometimes, very rarely, and this needs to be ruled out, there may be a swelling in the pelvis that is pressing on the veins, and you're getting varicose veins in the legs. Very rare, okay? Don't get alarmed, but you need to check it out, okay? Now, once you have done that, it is just varicose veins. Make sure you get a tight stocking, firm, not too tight, firm stocking that you wear all the time. One. The other thing is you need to take something that will help the body reduce the varicose veins. For that, balance oil, and also if you can lie down with your legs lifted up, okay, for a period of 5 to 10 minutes every day at the end of the day, that will help. Okay. Another question. I've been taking methotrexate for rheumatoid arthritis 10 days. I started taking balance oil a year ago. I did 3 balance tests. The first arachidonic acid is 5.2%. Second one, a little less at 4.9. Third time is 6.1. I wonder, is it because the rheumatoid arthritis medicine I've been taking inhibits the arachidonic acid formulation? Okay. Now, rheumatoid, there are several types of arthritis. Rheumatoid is one type, and they suspect it could be an autoimmune process. I did not explain that during the talk. Now, the immune system recognizes foreign cells, foreign bodies. Sometimes the process of recognition goes a bit out, and they don't recognize the body's own cells. Fortunately, out of the 200 plus cells, a few cells fall into that category. It could be a joint tissue like cartilage, as in this case, or it could be the kidney sometimes. Now, these are autoimmune diseases. So rheumatoid arthritis, if it doesn't come under control, they finally resort to a very strong medicine. Methotrexate is actually also used as an anti-cancer medicine, so you can imagine the intensity of the medicine. Now, here the question was whether the medicine is inhibiting or slowing down the AA formulation. Not really. Now, the AA is part of the family of omega-6, which we receive in enough amounts. Now, the AA is a principal player in inflammation. So you need a certain amount to initiate inflammation. But if there is too much inflammation, arachidonic acid can go up because you're taking too much omega-6, or the disease process itself is causing the inflammation. And in your case, because you have achieved a good balance, I don't think it is because of the intake. The disease process itself is causing an increase in the arachidonic acid because the body has now got to respond. Okay. What do we do now? Now, I would suggest that you speak to your doctor, try and work out a happy medium at which the minimum amount of medicine will give you the maximum relief possible. Okay. That way, you would be able to. Now, if the arachidonic acid has gone up, but you're not experiencing much pain, you can overlook that for the time being while you work on it. Okay. Now, there's another question. Heart disease and stroke, top killer in Malaysia and also in most of Asia. This could be due to very nice food, very true, or poor diet. Usually they both go together. And when you have nice food and poor diet, you tend to eat late, lifestyle is affected. Do you think taking balanced oil helps to improve or prevent these problems? Now, it is always good not to be injured rather than have a plaster to put over the injury. So yes, cut down on the nice food, the poor dieting and lifestyle. We are creatures of our environment. We can't do without taking part in all this. Have your day out, have your night out once in a while. When I say once in a while, maybe over the weekend one day, once in 2 weeks. See how you adjust to your regular lifestyle. If it doesn't affect you that much, fine. Because they also find that if you deprive yourself too much, the stress of depriving can raise your inflammation. We don't want you to experience that. Yes, balance oil will help to cushion all that and reverse years of damage that it has caused. Okay. Again, I think Sophie, has given more information. She's been taking the rheumatoid arthritis medicine for 10 years. So by now you would have come to a happy medium where you know exactly how much helps. In your case, I would say just ramp up the intake of omega-3. I am guessing maybe you're taking 7.5 ml, probably you're less than 80 kilos. Take 12 ml for some time. June Lee, if we consume Zinzino balance oil, can help gray hair. I have two problems. Most of the hair dropped out and the remaining one turned gray. There are two areas that there has been no progress made. One is preventing hair loss in males, not females. Females can be helped. Okay, hair loss and glasses. Okay, decrease in visual capacity. There has been no nutritional help so far. Okay, these are two areas. So June, okay, for ladies, I would suggest that you take our Velexir. Velexir has micro minerals which supports the hair, and for the graying part, you may have to take vitamin B12 for a long time. Okay, you can only see some results after almost a year. B12, no guarantee though, because we don't know yet. Okay. What causes when the air is provided? When the air is provided but the person can't absorb, what are the causes? What could be the reasons? When we breathe in air, it goes into the lung. Now, there is a partition between the blood and the oxygen. The oxygen must cross that partition. That partition is 1 cell thick, which means it's very thin, and it is very easy to cross and for the carbon dioxide to cross out and come out. Okay. Now, as we get older, this 1 cell layer gets thicker, so less pass through. We do not breathe that deep. So as we get older, the capacity of the lung comes down. So that's how our oxygen level drops as we get older. If we exercise, where you have to breathe harder, the lungs are being exercised. So this degeneration or aging will be much slower. I'm taking 30 ml now. 60 kilos. I've reduced methotrexate from 10 milligrams to 7.5. Okay, 30 ml is a heavy dose. Now, you didn't ask, but I assume that you must be thinking, is it okay? Any side effect of taking so much? At 30 ml, you are consuming close to 4,000 milligrams of omega-3. Okay, if you look at the breakdown of the ingredients. Now, they have done studies up to 8,000. Okay, and a lot of studies at 6,000, and they don't see any side effects. Okay, I would also urge you every 4 months, maybe keep checking on your levels where everything is okay. And some authorities say You can go up to 1:1. Omega-6, omega-3, you can go down to 1:1. In your situation, that may help. Now, specifically for rheumatoid arthritis, general studies show that in early cases, yours is 10 years old, in early cases, 2,700 milligrams of omega-3 can help. So I'm assuming that because your disease process has been there for so long, at 30 ml, you're actually consuming about 4,000. I think that's a good level for you. Yeah. But keep an eye on that test also. Should an expectant lady, pregnant lady, take balance oil? Must take. The requirement for the development of the brain of the baby needs DHA, and of course, other tissues require the EPA. So you should take. And according to Dr. Emily, who is a scientist on our team, she says the last 3 months of pregnancy, the requirement, the graph shoots up the requirement. So you should be on it. Do you think balance oil can help my children to improve their studies? I'm very cautious when I answer this because many people think that balance oil will improve your intelligence. Okay, intelligence, hard work is reflected by the functioning of the brain, mind. Functioning of the mind, you must have a good working brain to express that. So your structure of the brain will be much stronger if the children take the balance oil. So if their difficulty was because they had a lack of omega-3, their performance will go up. They will have more mental stamina, brain fog will reduce, and yes, their performance will improve based on the improvement in the structure of the brain cells.
All right. Okay. I think thank you, doctor, for sharing once again. Yes, I think today is almost time as well. All right. So I'm sure everybody here today has benefited from your tips and advice. All right. Let's give a doctor a round of applause again. Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
if you have liked what doctor had said earlier, but have not taken our products, okay, talk to the person who invited you to the call, okay, and do your test first. Okay, we strongly recommend you to do the test. Okay, so that you actually know where your health status is. All right, you may have, some of you, you may have taken plenty of supplement before, maybe many years already, 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, 20 years, etc. But you will be surprised, most of us, okay, will still not be 3:1 balance. Okay, this is based on the test that we had done. We had done almost like more than 700,000 tests worldwide. Okay, and 95% of the people worldwide are not balanced. Okay, even for those who have been taking omega-3 throughout, they are also not balanced, most of them. All right, so yes, I will recommend you to do the test first. So after you have taken the test, take the balance oil, okay, for 120 days. Okay, and then why 120 days? Because of the red blood cells, they live 120 days, so it's a good time to measure. Take the test again after 120 days of taking the balance oil. Okay, we will be very sure that you will see an improvement in the results, and likely you are almost balanced or imbalanced already. So if you like the products, then share them with your friends and families. Make sure they also do the test and take the product. And when you have 4 customers yourself, okay, Zinzino will reward you with a free product for your sharing effort. Okay, so of course, when your customer base grows, you can also do your Zinzino business. All right, we know that actually many of you here may not be able to explain the product well to your prospect, okay, or potential partners or customers. Okay, this is where you can actually leverage on our weekly health talk. So I'm going to just do a quick sharing, a very quick one, okay, because I know it's also late already. All right, you can leverage on our weekly health talk, and we once again have another session with our fitness nutritionist Victor Chow on next Monday at 9 p.m. and he will be sharing, how to burn fat with fats the healthy way in English. All right, this will be on for next Monday. All right, very informative session. Okay, and we know that some of you actually missed out the session last time, so please attend this time, and we also encourage you and your partners to prospect to join the session on Monday so that they can understand the benefits of taking the products every day. So of course, lastly, before the end of the session, since it's coming to the end of the month, all right, okay, I would like to do a quick sharing on our campaigns, just a quick one, okay, for the benefits of our new partners. I'm sure some of you may have remembered may have remembered, in the month of January, in May, many of them actually ran advance. All right, so it's all due to the 200% ECB campaign. All right, so all the partners, I think you should really qualify for this month. You should qualify yourself, okay, so that you can do the 200% ECB campaign next month. Okay, so what do we mean by 200% ECB? Simply put, you get 3 times credit, okay, on all your new partners and premium customer order in September. All right, you'll get triple credits for your rank advancement in September. Okay, so you can actually plan for your rank advancement. Okay, triple credits for your Z phone, okay, which is about 200 euros, and also triple credits for Zcar 1,000 euros. All you need to do is to qualify this, okay, by completing either A or B by 31st of August. Okay, A is actually you get 10 new premium customers or new partners by 31st of August to 10 action point. 10 action point. Remember, you also this time around you also need the virtual annual events ticket. Okay, that's not just only 10 action point, but you need virtual annual tickets as well. All right, so you have to do all this by 31st of August. Alternatively, all right, you can get the virtual annual event kit. All right, which consists of the event ticket, okay, and of course you have the 4 balance tests, and of course and 1 balance oil. All right, so for this annual event ticket, okay, you will also be getting new items. All right, we have to keep it a secret first, okay, because we were told not to share it. All right, but we will be launching a new products, all right, during our annual event this October. All right, and yes, once you have completed either options, all right, you will qualify for your 200% September 200% ECB credits campaign. Okay, I'm very sure I will be seeing a lot of partners rank advancing next month. So remember to get yourself qualified first, okay, if you have not done so. And lastly, okay, stay connected with us at our Facebook group, okay, Team Zinzino Asia. Okay, if you have not followed us, okay, at our group, you can go to your Facebook and click on Team Zinzino Asia or search for Team Zinzino Asia, okay, because we will be putting up a lot of information over there for partners. Stay connected with us, with the company at these various social media platforms as well. Okay, we will put up a lot of educational information and Zoom links over at the Facebook groups. All right, you may want to screenshot this and quickly add them to your social media, okay, so that you can stay connected with us. All right, this webinar is coming to an end. Okay, please continue to stay safe, stay healthy in the meantime, and do plenty of meeting. I'm sure over the weekend you will be meeting up or doing a lot of meetings with your customers or potential customers. Okay, so I hope to see you again next session on next Monday. Okay, thank you for your participation. All right, good night and have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now. Thank you.